With 60 million customers daily, more than 40,000 locations in over 100 countries, and 1.9 million employees, McDonald's is one of the world's largest restaurant chains. And it is about to get even bigger. The fast food giant said it plans to open 1,900 new restaurants in 2023. Almost half of those locations will be in China.
The growth potential in China is absolutely massive. There's definitely a massive opportunity for growth, and really their key priority market for store development.
McDonald's got its start in China in the early 90s. Today, the chain has more than 4,500 restaurants in mainland China and Hong Kong, with considerable room for growth.
That's crazy.
China is still in a nascent level of growth. They have 4,000 stores. They are aiming to double that number, within the next decade or two, and add, tens of dozens of stores
on
a monthly, if not yearly basis.
But it has faced headwinds along the way, including lockdowns due to COVID-19, food safety issues, and competition from rivals whose menus may be more suited to the Chinese palate.
In China, it's a little bit more of a difficult market.
Culturally,
they don't eat as many hamburgers, so having a local
restaurant
franchisee
reporter
helps in terms of
what's
on the menu, what's the best way to operate.
That's crazy.
Navigating some of the regulatory things and cultural things that make it so different from McDonald's in the US.
Every business is under greater scrutiny than any time before. And social media allows that to happen, and also public expectations of how big companies behave are heightened, and that's fair enough.
China is McDonald's second largest market by store count, behind the US. So how did the Illinois-based burger joint find success in a country known for its love of pork?
Fucking pork. That's wrong.
McDonald's first restaurant opened in China in Shenzhen in 1990, but it wasn't until 2 years later when the chain moved into Beijing, opening what at the time was the world's largest McDonald's in the globe's most populous nation.
Bro, that's crazy.
The restaurant had 700 seats, 29 cash registers,
McDonald's in China?
and served 40,000 customers on opening day.
The novelty,
dude, that's like Mr. Beast burger.
Was something that immediately gravitated a lot of consumer interest in China, and people in the early days queued up and lined up to partake.
I saw a white guy in that first picture.
A slice of American culture.
What's he doing there?
Albeit in a hamburger.
And it was quickly expanding into other locations too. In 1994, McDonald's opened its 20th restaurant, 80 miles east of the capital, Beijing. In 2010, it announced plans to double its footprint to 2,000. Building out its supply chain and adapting to the Chinese market were key to its early success.
What do they adapt, though? What do they do?
Despite those investments,
Change the menu?
McDonald's was still
Szechuan
playing catch-up with
sauce?
rivals. KFC, China's first Western fast food restaurant, opened in 1987. Pizza Hut launched in 1990.
Dang.
KFC had over 8,100 restaurants in China,
The
compared
Colonel
with
Sanders
Pizza
is
Hut
actually
that operated over 2,500
visionary.
restaurants, and McDonald's China with 4,642 stores.
The reason that Yum is larger, the reason that KFC is larger in China versus McDonald's is really twofold. The first is that Yum owned the distribution business in China, so just allowed them to access smaller cities first and get that first mover advantage. And the second piece is that chicken, as a part of KFC, is just naturally more appealing in China,
You
where
really
chicken is larger.
emphasize chicken, dude.
As the company
That guy-
continued to grow out its operations,
that guy
it
is
faced
a-
other hurdles as well.
He's KFC.
In 2014, McDonald's, along with
got that
KFC
bias,
parent Yum
huh?
brand, faced concern
that
over
chicken,
food
dude.
quality after a reporter secretly filmed workers picking up meat off the floor of a local supplier. McDonald's China business reported a decline in sales that year.
It's gonna get cooked anyways, right?
3-second roll, dude.
Or just a CCTV expose showing a dirty kitchen,
Floor lettuce.
right? That can matter.
The chain also faced
Or
rising
bread, dude.
competition
Or
from
chicken.
local
No, for
rivals.
chicken.
Dude, the
China
thing
has-
is, like, dude, every restaurant does shit like that. It's just that they don't get filmed while they do it, dude.
It's about
That's
2.6
true.
million fast food restaurants.
And they're actually competing against these noodle stands that will sell a hot bowl of noodles for a fraction of what it costs for
That's
McDonald's.
Nah, that's
meal.
crazy, dude. Because, dude, if you can get that for half the price of a 10-piece Nuggies, dude,
The
yeah.
fast food industry
Yeah,
in
dude.
China
I
is
get
worth
the noodles any day,
$184
dude.
billion.
Imagine like,
Yeah, I think
imagine like some black garlic noodles, dude.
the big problem for McDonald's is whether or not they were committed to using their own balance sheet to building out a market the size of China. Real estate costs and
We all know the
site
McDonald's in
acquisition costs
China, dude. The Bing chilling
are
machine's always
considerably
broken.
higher than they are in the United States.
No.
Embracing its franchise
Not
model
the Bing
with
chilling
an eye
machine.
towards
The
slashing
Bing chilling
operating
machine,
costs,
bro.
McDonald's
Machine
sold
Bing
its China
chilling.
business for a little over $2 billion in 2017 to Chinese state-owned enterprise CITIC and U.S. private equity firm Carlyle Group. As part of the agreement,
Carlyle,
the
dude.
burger chain's partners would be responsible for providing capital for the business, including pricey real estate, and McDonald's would receive royalties based on sales as well as fees for opening a new restaurant. McDonald's retained a 20% stake in the business.
20%.
CITIC owned 52%, and the Carlyle Group had a 28%.
Getting
stake.
robbed.
Certainly, the long-term opportunity for growth in China was not something that was under review.
20%
But the fact that just the
$2 billion,
volatility
dude?
of owning China,
Jeez,
just
you missed out on the bag, dude.
the challenging planning that came around that was really the key reason why McDonald's chose to refranchise that market back in 2017.
Having a state-owned entity as a partner really conveys a lot of benefits to McDonald's in terms of site allocation. But
saying
they
it's
know
owned.
that they can't play the
That's
real estate
crazy.
game in China in the same way they
Full-on
can play it in the
communist.
United States.
McDonald's has more than 4,500 restaurants in China and Hong Kong,
They sold their
compared
soul,
with
dude.
over 13,000 in the U.S. Beyond the number of
Dang,
stores,
dude.
one key difference between its U.S. operations versus its China business is the ability to own real estate.
They are, in essence, a real
McDonald's-
estate company,
McDonald's is
and
just
they're
a
one
real
of the
estate
largest
company that
holders
sells
of
burgers.
commercial real estate.
Because they always
in the United
own like
States,
the
when you
priciest
collectively
real
add it
estate in
all up.
any region.
Yeah.
You can't do this in China because, again,
That's
you
crazy.
can't own land 100%.
So they
You're
just
only
get royalties
entitled
from
to
all
the
the
land
China.
if you purchase it for 100 years, and that reverts back to the government.
That's the same thing in
McDonald's
Great
CEO
Britain,
Chris
dude.
Kaczynski on its most
can't
recent
own
earnings
land.
call even
All your
said
property's
that,
owned by
you
the
know,
crown.
While some
That's
might think
dumb,
that they
dude.
sell burgers and fries, what
It's
they
the same
really
for
sell
Canada
is the business,
and,
the
and
brand
some other
to
regions.
franchisees.
Even though
Because
Canada's
they're
like
owned by
they-
the
they're
rent,
they're owned by
they're
the crown
effectively
too.
a landlord.
All the land at least.
But outside of the U.S., when they don't have the ability
That could have
to
been-
hold
that could have
that
happened
long,
to
Because in China, like when you die, the lease goes back to the government, right? But if McDonald's, the corporation, can't die. So I guess they can lease it for like longer than 99
Well,
years.
yeah, they only lease for up to 100 years at a time.
Well,
They just have to
it
renew
really
the
changes
contract.
things, and they become more like a traditional franchisor in that respect.
Today, McDonald's China business makes up a small portion of revenue for the parent company. More than 38% of McDonald's revenue came from the U.S. in 2021, followed by Germany, the U.K., and France.
And Europe has got a lot
The
of
entire
revenue, dude.
Asia-Pacific region made up just 10% of McDonald's
Europe's a
revenue
lot bigger
in
than I thought it was.
2021. McDonald's does
Yeah.
not break out revenue for every country.
I mean, part of the way we structure ourselves is we always have local management run the local countries, and I think that helps just localize us as a brand, because rather than just being seen as a dominant global behemoth, you know, we just want to be the local McDonald's. We want to be the
Behemoth.
French McDonald's. We
Behemoth.
want to be the Chinese McDonald's or the US McDonald's.
It's pronounced behemoth.
The company
pronounced
focuses
video.
overseas business into
Fucking
two
noise,
categories.
dude. Go back to school.
International operating market, which includes Australia, France, and Germany that it owns and operates, and an international developmental licensee market that includes China, where it licenses out its ability to own and operate stores. McDonald's same-store sales in its international developmental licensee market increased 16% in 2022
Okay,
from the
starting to
year
use the words
prior,
a little too big.
compared with the U.S. same-store sales that saw an uptick of just 5.9%. McDonald's stock price has continued to climb, reaching $266 per share in February 2023. With a population of 1.4 billion and about 100
Jesus.
urban areas with over 1 million people, the
No wonder they
Chinese
made
market
that
is a massive
coronavirus,
opportunity
dude.
for McDonald's owners. While Beijing, Shanghai,
trying to get more
and
real
Hong
estate
Kong
for
account
McDonald's,
for about
dude.
45% of fast food industry revenue in China, much of the rest of the country remains untapped.
Most of their stores in what we call first-tier cities along the eastern seaboard of China. and the
First tier?
large
They got
industrial
tier lists for
cities
cities?
like Shanghai and Beijing.
That's new.
Oh my God, it's your list,
But
dude.
now
A
they
city
see
tier list?
opportunity in secondary and tertiary cities,
Oh,
which
dude, it's
means
got a Hong Kong poster in the background. Canceled.
there's a lot of runway
Cancelled,
growth
dude.
for
Cancelled,
McDonald's ahead of them.
But despite China's zero COVID policy,
You get the
that
VR
resulted in some
goggles and
temporary
everything.
closures,
Yeah.
McDonald's has continued to
intense, dude.
expand, opening over 700 new restaurants in China
guys
in
buy a deep dive,
2022, an all-time high. The company also has plans to open an additional 900 stores in 2023. In other words, the
Oh,
burger
so
giant is
three
planning to
stores a
open a
day,
new
dude.
McDonald's in
That's
China
crazy.
about every
Can you
10
imagine being in
hours
charge
in
of that, dude?
2023.
Building 3 stores a day.
And perhaps
Every
more
10
importantly,
hours, dude.
it has leaned into digital delivery and adapted its menu.
But the other thing that's most striking about the McDonald's in China is the amount of technology that resides in
China
the store.
Bright Star.
So almost universally, when you go into a McDonald's, you don't step up to a line and wait to talk to the person at the register to place your order. You walk to a
Robots
giant
for everything
electronic
nowadays.
kiosk and you enter all of your order electronically.
Making adjustments to cater to the tastes of Chinese consumers in terms of the menu options.
Bring back the
has been
Szechuan
an
sauce.
important development,
The
but
Szechuan
also the manner in which they portray themselves.
Bro, look at
through,
this. They got the K-pop stars on the side of the store.
Either communications or advertising.
In 2007, with a fleet of over 300 motorcycles, McDonald's launched its delivery service
Yeah,
in
delivery
Shanghai.
in China.
Today, in China,
Dude.
delivering
Hey, we
and
don't-
digital
we don't
payments
got that
as in
in the
paying with your
US.
smartphone.
It's only tier 1
the
cities,
norm.
dude.
Almost
We don't
90%
deserve
of
it, dude.
transactions in China are digital, compared with about 25% in the US.
McDonald's can actually learn things in the China market, and then at some point, sort of have those things migrated.
The
back
US
to the
market's
United
stuck
States
in
and
their
serving the
legacy.
United States market.
Dude, it's
Payment
all,
systems.
it's all the boomers, man, dude. They want to walk into the store and do all this stuff, man. They want to go, they need to get with the times and
They
start
wanna,
ordering
like,
stuff, dude.
Say hi and see the cat. No.
No, dude, no.
I just want to see
Pretty wise move
nobody.
strategically.
I'm
trying
trying
get my
to grab
food.
that shit and go,
to
dude.
Exactly.
get
I'm out of
complete
there.
digital integration.
Drive-thru's not
which
fast
also
enough.
gives them a
I know,
treasure
dude.
trove of data.
And it has an opportunity in China's burgeoning coffee market too, with plans
Oh,
to launch
McCafe's
1,000
lit,
new
actually.
McCafes across China by the end of 2023. McCafes.
This is why, like, in anime, people go on dates to, like, McDonald's and stuff. Because they're really going to McCafe.
operate both as standalone stores and within existing restaurants and offer fresh ground coffee from around the world, as well as hot snacks.
No, that's crazy.
Starbucks has over 6,000 stores and plans to reach 9,000 by 2025.
That's crazy too.
Chinese coffee consumption in the traditionally tea-loving nation is only about 9 cups a year. but
Huh?
growing. By contrast, in the U.S., more than
Well, I
half
drink 9 cups in, like, a day, man.
18 to 24-year-olds have had a cup of coffee in the past 24 hours.
That they've had successful McCafe operations in the United States, and transporting that to China makes a lot of sense.
Dang.
Because people will use their dining room.
Coffee
as a
bean
place to
business gonna be lit,
socialize,
dude.
over a cup of coffee.
Something that McDonald's pursues is given the high margin nature of coffee offerings, as well as the fact that these beverages do skew to breakfast, so you get more of a day part balance as well.
Another advantage for McDonald's business in China versus its U.S. counterpart is the availability of a large pool of labor.
The United States is very mature at this point,
Water?
highly saturated with competition. And so if
Slaves?
there is a
Wait,
marketplace
I'm
that
canceled.
still has
Cut that out.
opportunity and also utilizing this sort of capital light model,
Uyghurs, dude?
then China makes a lot of sense.
Uyghur
Yeah, you
cats?
can't say that. You can't
Shit, oh shit, they don't exist.
say that.
That shit doesn't exist, I'm sorry. It's my wild imagination, you know what I mean?